The secret to succeeding in Frostborn is completing the Sanctum of Odin. This requires clearing the guest hall and killing the giant chief, which gives you a key to unlock the Sanctum. The Sanctum has a lot more enemies, including the necromancer boss who drops a forge key. 3 forge keys unlock the forge, which is an even harder challenge, ending in an epic fight with the iron golem in a room filled with fireballs. And then completing the forge unlocks the archives, which is arguably the hardest challenge in all mobile gaming, because even 4 skilled players with great gear will be demolished by this challenge if they do not know what they are doing. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about completing the guest hall. In order to get into the Sanctum of Odin, you will need an offering to Odin. The easiest way to get one of these is to complete a tomb found in the yellow and red zones. If you are struggling to complete tombs because of players ambushing you, then once a day you can activate the statue in the middle of the popular district at Newheim for a non-PvP yellow zone. However, it is important to note that the boss of yellow zones only have a 50% chance of dropping an offering to Odin, whereas it is a guaranteed drop from the bosses of red zone. If you are having any trouble with tombs, make sure to check out my playlist dedicated to tombs. As soon as you enter the guest hall, you will notice that Odin's is designed to be a 4-player challenge. But even with 4 talented players, it will still be the most challenging thing you do in the game, and it requires a lot of resources. Now, as you get good at Odin's, it is possible to solo it, and when you get really good, it is sometimes even easier to solo it because enemies are easier to predict. But no matter how good you are, soloing it will cost you a lot more resources. I would love to tell you exactly how many resources you will need, but this is no easy task as it is dependent on a ton of different factors. For example, since a bone mace, which is the best intermediate weapon for soloing Odin's, does around 2600 damage before breaking, it would seem like it would take 22 bone maces to complete the Sanctum. But sneak attacks do triple damage, allowing you to do more damage some of the time. A level 2 berserk increases that damage by 33%, and then with berserk 3 you get another 33%. Mushroom soup is generally cheap and can add another 10%, and if you use the tactics I show you, there are many times that you can hit enemies without being hit in return, allowing you to wear instigator gear, which can increase the damage by another 30% during those times. But then if you die, all of the bone maces on you will lose 30% of their durability, making you need more of them. So to do the Sanctum, you will need anywhere from 9 to 26 bone maces, which means you will need to farm between 45 and 130 wood, 27 and 48 resin and leather strips, and between 54 and 156 iron ore. One way of dealing with this is just to farm the higher amount of resources, because anything that you don't use you will be able to save for the next time. You will also need a couple staves of support, each of which can heal about 8 to 16,000 hit points. Now if you are playing with a talented and dedicated team, then you can actually do most of Odin's with just spears and staves of support, which makes it a lot easier to have enough resources. And then the ultimate PvE goal for anyone doing Odin's, especially for solo players, is to complete the forge and get a fire dagger, which can do over 125,000 sneak attack damage before having to repair it. In addition to weapons, it would be good to bring several sets of tier 1 armor, and since you will likely have more food than you know what to do with, this is a great place to bring it to supplement your staves of support. Other useful items for Odin's are simple bows, fire bombs, traps, apprentice staves, piercing daggers, weapon breakers, and the Vran axe, but I will talk about each of those as they come up. So now that I've given you some rough estimates on how many materials you need, let's talk about how to take on the 23 enemies of the guest hall. The first, most simple, and most common path taken in the guest hall is to clear these 6 enemies in this room, this guy defending this door, and then these 6 enemies on your way to the 3 treasury caches. These treasury caches have amazing loot and should be opened as much as possible. To open them, you will need 30 of the corresponding pendants, which requires killing the enemies of Odin's. When doing this often, you will likely have extra wood and steel pendants, and you will want to come to Odin's just to cash in those extra pendants, which is why this is the most common path for the guest hall. To clear this path, you will want to kill 1 enemy at a time. The first one is really easy, but after that, you will need to be a little more strategic. If you are playing solo, solo, then you will want to be the healer class equipped with a staff of support and a bone mace. As the enemy is getting close to you, cast both of your heals and then attack him with your bone mace. If you are not healer 2 yet, then you will also need to use some food to keep your health from dropping too quickly. Then do it again with this guy and then again with this guy. After that, go ahead and open this room because it has unguarded loot and because you can use this room to attract this sharpshooter to come attack you. This sharpshooter does a ton of damage, and if you are just healer 1, then you should bring a few bandages for this encounter. After that, you can sneak up on this guy who is really easy, and then this guy who is somewhat easy. When you open the door, this guy will attack you, but he has a very small amount of hit points. And then at this point, you should switch over to the berserk class and then sneak up on this sharpshooter, again using a few bandages. And then switch back to healer to continue down the hallway. If you are doing this with a team of 2 or more, then just replace the bone mace with spears and take turns healing each other during the fights. And then if you have a fire dagger and you can't get a sneak attack, just aggro enemies and then leave the area to reset them. When you get back, their backs will be turned to you, which will allow you to one-shot them. After you have cleared your way to the caches, I recommend clearing these 3 enemies one at a time with the same approach mentioned earlier so that you have access to the Sanctum, Forge, and Archives. After that, come over and get a sneak attack on this giant hermit and then keep attacking him like normal, but keep track of how many times he hits you. After he hits you twice, he will start to charge up his skill. When he does this, you do not have to move all the way to the other side of him, but rather just take a small sidestep and keep attacking him. When your health starts to get low, simply switch over to your staff of support and then run circles around him until you can cast your healing, and then go back at him some more until you finish him off. After that, open this room and then leave the area to reset them so that you can come back and attack them one at a time. After they are both dead, and maybe go ahead and clear this room for the loot, you can take on the Giant Chief. At first glance, the Giant Chief has 4,000 health, but he also has 21 armor, which reduces damage by 30%, which means that he functionally has 7,000 hit points. In addition to this, his base attack is 90, so getting hit by him hurts, and his skill does 270 damage, so definitely don't get hit by that. Now you can kill him with symbol bows, which are relatively cheap, but the cheapest way to kill him is to bring him over to this room and hide behind this door until he approaches. Then pop out and attack him 3 times, and then bring him over to this room to do the same thing again and again and again and again. You can do this as a team or solo, but if you're just getting started, I recommend staying a healer because you will probably make some mistakes and get hit a couple times, and you do not want everyone to die during this process because if the Giant Chief resets, he will restore all of his health. After you kill him, he will drop 2 good items and a key to the Sanctum. Do not use this key until you are ready to do that challenge. The Sanctum is over 4 times as difficult as the Guest Hall, but also the most rewarding reoccurring experience I've ever had in mobile gaming, and I look forward to revealing all of its secrets with you guys in the next episode of this series. Now you will notice that I did not talk about how to kill the 2 wood giants in the Guest Hall, and that is because I do not recommend killing them unless you have already cleared all of the giants in the Sanctum, which I will be covering the best tactics to do so in that next video. Behind the door of the most northern giant, you will see a lever claiming it is missing an important part. This part does not exist in the game right now, but it does look like the developers plan to add something here at some point in the future. This area looks more like decoration to me, so I don't think anything will be added here, but this room over here intrigues me, and I kind of hope it will eventually become something. Lastly, it costs 15 marks to clear the Guest Hall, and this is an example of the type of loot you will get. Due to the unusually large amount of gold pendants that you get from using marks on the Guest Hall, the Guest Hall gives the biggest reward per mark used out of anything in the game. Well, that's it guys, hope that helps, and I'll see you next time.